Hi, welcome to the channel today. Today I'm going to go and we're doing the Larry Hall method with the swimming pool to grow corn. One thing I did change is I went to actual fabric pots, because these fabric pots are about as cheap as the Walmart bags are. I did seed these here at the same time I seeded these in a container in case we got cold weather, which we did. But what I did go ahead and bring these inside, brought them in the garage for a day or two. So I thought, well, I've got these extra ones, why not go ahead and plant them? And one thing you want to do is make sure, don't you dare get in there, girl.
Pick up.
And to make sure that they get pollination, I'm going to plant these right side by side so when the wind blows, they pollinate each other. I have grown them in this pots here. I don't really like these for corn. They work great for tomatoes and peppers, things like that. We're going to see how they do. So I'm going to pop them out as gently as I can, try to get all the roots to come out with it. And we're going to plant 3 per cell. I tell you, I might just put, I'm going to put 3. And like I say, that's one reason I don't like this. And these are close together, but they're going to have all the water they need. So that shouldn't be that much of a problem. And like I say, their roots do not like to be messed with at all. If you screw up the root, there's basically the root comes up, then you got the stem, there's a part in there. If you mess that up, it ruins the corn for that season, for that plant. And these are true annuals, so you're not going to get, they're not like a perennial. Your tomatoes and your peppers are all actually perennials. We just grow them as annuals because our weather. See what I like about them, we're trying to get them out, you got to try to get those roots out. That's a lot of messing with these roots. But I could be wrong. See, I have strong opinions, but I do reserve the right to admit that sometimes I'm not right. Because that's not where you're going to learn. I watch a lot of YouTubers, and some of them are way less experienced than I am, but I can still learn off of them. I know let me see, Planet Dirt, Backyard Gardeners. We're going to try the banana leg paste tomatoes that she really liked, and she's in a totally different environment than I am. But I watch your videos. I like to watch your videos, and you learn things from different people. TD Homestead is in zone 7 or whatever. Is trying to grow some of the citrus and things he does. I do like watching him because he's a different area than I am. But you do learn some things, and he did have some success at putting in those call them pickle barrels, in which plastic barrels you put in, and then you wrap them around to keep winter protection, and did pretty good with it. So you can learn from other people even if they don't live in your area sometimes. And even if they don't, I don't have a problem with learning from people that are less experienced than me, because I've got preconceived ideas. And I know, I mentioned different videos, but I know Brooke over at, it used to be Seed to Plate, now it's What Brooke Grows. She was a near gardener, but man, she'd try anything. And she tried a lot of stuff that I said just would not work, or I didn't think would work. And lo and behold, she tried and it would work. And I think, okay, I was wrong. And some things she tried didn't work. And but like I say, you can learn from just about anybody. So just because somebody doesn't have great experience in something doesn't mean that you can't learn from them. And I gotta get all the way over there. And like Larry Hall, I mean, he's passed away, But, you know, I learned a lot of stuff from him, including this method here, you know, that I would have never thought of. Now, he had a lot more experience than I have. And he thought outside the box on a lot of things. So, you know, just, you know, I always say all gardens local. You know, try to learn from people that's around you, that's in your same area. And that's true. But you can also learn stuff from people that's further away. Just remember that, you know, you have to make sure that, you know, it is adaptable to your area and what you do. Now, one thing I have noticed with doing this, even though these are sitting in water, the top of these are dry. So I go through there and I water them up. But all the corn came up but one, and so that was good. That's what we're going to do now. Now, I did want to show you, since we're here, let's get up. I didn't grunt that time, but I had to do it on purpose. Winter damage on these, you know, it bit them back. Don't think there's any problem with that. One thing about figs is they're used to losing leaves. They're going to lose their leaves sometime during the year to bacteria spot or whatever the stuff that gets on them. You know, that's, you know, pretty common. And then we have talked about over here the loquats, and we did have one. It's hanging on. Looks like it's going to make it. I did have a comment to ask, well, how often do you think these will make in zone 9A? I think about every 3 years, but here lately it's probably every 4 years. I mean, since 2020, we've had a lot of cold weather, and a lot of weather that we're not really supposed to get. I did make, since I've been here since 2018, actually, when I had the first year I planted anything, probably, I had a couple of years there I would have made some. In fact, I made some that was in the pots, and they made, and I thought, well, why do I need to have them in pots? They're making anyway, so I put them in the ground, and that was in 2019. And in 2020 was when we had Snowmageddon. So it's been cold here lately. I know this tree did make once a decent crop, a fair crop. 1 year after Christmas freeze, I think what it has had some blooms that bloomed later, and so those survived. So it's been hard lately. I think it's going to get better. Things go in cycles. Since we're over here also, the blueberries. These are the rabbit eye blueberries, these two here. They got blueberries on them. This here is a Sweet Crisp Southern High Bush. It's got berries on it all over. Also got some blooms. I don't think the weather's going to affect the fruit any. And we got this one here. I don't know about this thing. It wants to die every year, but it grows just enough that I don't take away from it. It does have blueberry on it. So this it was in a bag, one of those grow bags. It wasn't doing well. It was getting too dry, so I moved it to here. It just never has adapted to growing in this pot for whatever reason. This is another Sweet Crisp. And this is O'Neill. And it is weird in the fact that you see all the fruit that's on this. It's got fruit all over it, and it's just now starting to peek out a few leaves on it. And it does this every year. I mean, some of the fruit will almost ripen before we ever get a flush of growth on it as far as leaves. But that's the way it works. I don't know. I wouldn't think that's a good thing, because you want the leaves to be pulling in the sweetness, but they're not a bad tasting blueberry. But you know, that one's not very far away from making. You know what? Take 2 weeks. And that is the thing about the Southern High Bush. They do tend to make earlier than the rabbit eyes. There is a Northern High Bush and a low bush. They don't grow around here. So if you go to Lowe's or you go to Home Depot, Walmart, they'll be selling some of these blueberries, and majority of them are Northern High Bush. They don't make down here. Don't get enough chill hours. You got to have 800 to 1,000 chill hours. We don't get that down here. But they sell them every year. They got them in pots, like $12.99 a piece. Sounds great. When I did the video on buying those are planting those blueberries for a friend of ours, they had this one here. It's pink lemonade, and it's a cross. So, I think it's got a little bit of rabbit eye, a little bit of high bush in it. It may even have a little bit of northern high bush. I don't know, but it is a cross, and it's going to do the same thing it seems to do every year. It makes a few, but it don't make many. And there has been some years it never even bloomed out. We do have a few little berries that's come out on it. They did have these. That was the only one that's going to make it down here. We had to go to a actual nursery to buy the other 3 varieties that we got. And that's just something I'll let y'all know. Be careful when you go, because what seems to happen is they buy this stuff and it goes nationwide. And I don't really understand why they do that, because really most of Texas is not going to be able to grow a northern high bush. But they tend to do that, so if you're buying from them, be careful of varieties. Also, I think getting what they're pretty good about getting the right varieties, but like peach trees and stuff, I think you can get the wrong varieties sometime, because the nurseries they buy from are probably the cheapest nurseries, so they may not have as good of, and you can get a wrong variety from anywhere you buy. Mistakes are made, okay? I'm not saying that you go to a certain online and he's always going to give you the fruit tree that you want or that you ordered. I've done that with myself on tomatoes. I make sure the tomatoes, I was very careful, but there was a fuzzy wuzzy that's very different, and sure enough, I had a couple of fuzzy wuzzies in other sales. How they got there, I still think it might be bugs, but it could have been user error. But I was sure. I did that one time planting tomatoes one time. I had all my rows of tomatoes and I had them all up, and for some reason there was a cherry tomato plant in the ones with the regular slicing tomatoes, and things happen. But it seems to happen more often in the and really, it might not even be anybody's fault. It may be somebody looked at the tag, or a tag fell off, and somebody, you got a worker, or you got even a customer may switch tags up on a tree. Most of the time I think they're right. I did have one tree that I do think was misidentified because it just did not bloom at the right time. And the bad thing about it, if it's a tomato, it's no big deal. It's 1 year, you're okay. But a peach tree, you may save it for 2 or 3 years and not get the right variety. It may not bloom right. The one I had would bloom early, but it was a brown rot magnet. I mean, it just got eat up by it, and I finally cut it down for that reason. I normally, would try it, but man, that thing just every year, I was completely eat up with it. And if you got one tree that eats up with brown rot, it does tend to spread to the other trees. So I finally actually had to, and it was a big, tall tree. I mean, the trunk on it was just big around. But if you're not getting fruit off of it, there's no reason to grow it. That's why I'm kind of disappointed with this one, because it did not set any fruit, and it's a nectarine. So you need to be fairly harsh sometimes on your fruit trees. If this doesn't make next year, or don't produce any trees next year, probably get rid of it. Because I really hadn't made any fruit yet, and I've had it for 4 or 5 years, or 4 years anyway. It's probably going on its 5th year. Why keep growing it? But anyway, that's the video, and I'll keep you, that is the burgundy corn. It's supposed to be a red corn. That's a sweet corn. We'll do a taste test on it if we make any. I think we'll make some. They're looking okay. And I keep you informed. I'm going to do another set over there with the black corn. That's a flower corn, a field corn. And I will let these get up nice and tall so that they will not cross-pollinate with those, because if those cross-pollinates with this one, it will really screw up my sweet corn. So, but anyway, a lot of times if you're going to grow 2 different types of corn, you're going to grow a field corn or a popcorn or a sweet corn, you do want to isolate them. Now, isolating for distance, they say 200 yards. It's not 200 yards. But you can do it by time, and it's about 3 weeks to a month time-wise. I planted these earlier and I think in late February or really early March. I'll probably wait till April 1st and then plant these others. Same thing with the corn in the ground. I'm going to plant another variety there. Not as critical because they're both field corn, so if they do cross-pollinate, it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.